welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm really excited about today's show. I'm excited to show you how to do pantographs a couple of different ways. First of all, we're going to jump in and show you how to use the Gracie laser on the Cutie Frame. Now, it's not that much of a different process on a rolling frame versus a hoop frame. Instead, you're just moving across the quilt and then down. So we'll jump in and welcome again, everybody. Thank you for being so stalwart and joining me live. I know you have busy lives, and I truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join me to learn what I love very most in life. No, besides my family. Don't get me wrong. I love my family. I do love quilting. It means a lot to me. It brings me a lot of peace, joy, and happiness. And I'm so glad my friends, all of you, are out there following me and helping me with my quilting journey, and I hope that I'm helping you with yours. So let's jump in and let me explain to you what the Gracie laser is and how to use it. Hi Melanie, thanks. So the Gracie laser is this nifty little gadget that you can put on even if you have a Q-Zone hoop style frame, if you have a Q-Zone Queen or some older frames and you have a carriage that has handles up here, you can work from the front or the back. On the Cutie Frame, because the handles are down below, notice that they're not here any longer, they're on the back of the frame, and I'll show you that in a minute. It can only be used from the back unless you're very creative and come up with a way to mount it on the head of your machine, okay? And I have done that as well. I've taped it so it doesn't go anywhere, and you can tape it to the head of your machine. Just be creative, see what you can do. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do it. That just bothers me so much, and for us to listen to them that we can't do it, get that out of your head. The only person who's stopping you from doing anything in life is you. So don't let even get in your way. So, okay, let's jump in and talk to you about how this laser works and how to set it up for an edge-to-edge quilt. Notice that I'm not quilting on my quilt I have now. It's on another hoop frame. However, I wanted you to be able to see the process, and I wasn't quilting an edge-to-edge design on that quilt, so I put this black one on so that you could see my quilting progress, bad or good, across the quilt. So we're going to jump to the back of the frame. I'll go around this way, Bryant, so I'm not walking in front of the camera, I'm walking behind. And notice, okay, here are my handles. I have them set up. I have my sure stitch set up right here, and I'm going to work standing up. Now, if you want to sit down, that's okay. I just kind of feel a little better quilting a pantograph across the quilt by standing up, because I can actually see up and over and see what's kind of going on. I don't want you to look up, however, so I'm just going to walk over these cords. I kind of have an outline here of how I want to show you things, how the progression of the pantograph I want to show you. There are steps involved. I will get that finished written up. I just was back here trying to put things together, so we will have a step-by-step, and we also have this cute little downloadable design, thanks to Amanda, that she designed specifically for this. So let's talk about how I set this up. I moved my handles to the back. There are two holes back here that you will move your handles, and all you have to do is loosen this screw here, and this screw here actually lets you be able to pull it out, push it in to decide how far out or in you want the handles to be. I want them a little further out, just so that it's following along, or if you want it a little closer together, that's fine. You do you, okay? Then I have my sure stitch set up, and I turned it so that I'm hoping that you guys can see the sure stitch settings. Okay, so now that I have all that, and notice I can watch my cords, I want them out of the way, so just do your due diligence, making sure that you have things set up correctly so that you don't get caught up on something and have to stop when you're in that little sweet spot of the design and you're moving along so carefully, and then all of a sudden you get hung up. All right, so this is where the laser will be sitting. You can do it on the left or the right side, I don't care, whichever works best for you. And notice that I have it set up right here, and my design, I'll move my outline right here. My design I have right here. I have set it up on my table. I've taped it down. Now I had to make some adjustments to make the design work correctly for the parameters of the throat of my machine. Let's talk a little bit about our machines. Our machines are like us. They come in different shapes, different sizes. Some are a little broader, some are a little smaller, some have high throats, some have deep throats, some have, they're just different, and they have different personalities as well, which makes the world go round. It's awesome. So we need to make sure that we have a design that will work within the parameters of our machine. So as you're thinking about the designs that you like, it doesn't mean that you can't size them differently. Definitely you can. However, we just need to make sure that when we size it, we're sizing it correctly so we don't hit either the back or the front of our machine. So I started setting it up, and I placed it right here, and I angled my, so what I did is I pushed my machine all the way to this side, because I wanted to work from, instead of left to right, we're working from right to left. And so I pushed it all the way to the edge, and I had to make sure that, and I've already done one little flower, okay? And I had to make sure that I could move all the way across and finish my design, and also that I could work within the parameters of my machine so I'm not hitting the back or the front. So let me show you how I set that up. All right, I taped down my paper first, and I started with it halfway right here. I moved up, I measured my design, okay, and I moved it from the lowest point right here, the lowest point of my design. I don't know if you can show this. Let me, hang on, okay. I've got one right here. I want to talk about lowest point and highest point. So, right here, where do you want this, Brian? Okay, there we go. All right, sorry about that, everybody. We have to make adjustments too. So bear with me. Okay, so this is the lowest, this is the design right here in the middle I'm using, okay? So this is the lowest point in it. So when I measure, I just want to measure the distance, what that is. And then I'll move my machine right back to the back, and I'll measure in, okay? So that I know that I have a little bit of wiggle room. So I'll say maybe it's about 4 inches or so. So that's what I did. So use your measurements, use your tape measure and measure it, and then I just started sewing. All right, so now we want to make sure if it's going to work all the way across our quilt. So what I'm going to do is move my laser to the lowest point on this design, right there. Can you see that? I hope everybody can. And then I'm going to start moving it across, making sure that I don't have to adjust or move and that I'm not hitting the foot of my machine. So all the way across, and I know that this row will be okay. Now I want to move it up to the highest point of my design and move it across. And that means that now this little design is going to work within the parameters of my machine, and I'm only going to do one row at a time. It works the same way if you have a little longer throat and you can actually do 2 rows. I probably could. However, when I come to this top point on this next row up away from it, I know I'm getting really, really close to the back of my machine, and I may not be able to go all the way around without hitting. But we're going to try, okay? That's what we're here for, and that's what we're going to do. So anyway, that's how you set it up to work. Then you're going to tape it down and stabilize it. Don't want it to go anywhere because we're going to have the machine do everything else. Okay, actually, we have some good questions. And one is, could you put a pantograph in front? Yes. Good question, and actually I'm going to show you what you can do. All right, so I'll show you how to do a pantograph on the front using your Cutie Frame. So great questions, keep them coming. Let's get started and let me show you what it's like moving across your quilt. It doesn't take that much to set up your pantograph. using your Cutie frame or a hoop style frame. It's just a little different. Besides, instead of rolling our quilt up, we're just shifting it to the sides and working our way down our quilt. So let's get started. I've already done one little flower. I'm going to move back, and I'm going to put my needle where I stopped, and we're going to turn it on, and we're going to see how well Karla can do. Okay, notice I'm right there. I made myself stop right there. I'm going to turn it on. Now, the other thing I forgot to tell you is if you have the stitch regulator or you have a machine that has the edge warning, make sure you set up the edge warning now more than ever, because you're working from the back, you're not seeing what's going on in the front, and you will really need those parameters of the edge warning warning you when you are getting close. So that's what I did. I went into my settings of my stitch regulator. Remember, I showed you this last week with the stitch regulator. Bryant's getting quite a workout today. So we went into the settings of the stitch regulator here, and that's that little wheel right there. And then when I hit the settings, I hit Tools, Edge Warning, and I set it up. Not hard to do, but really important that you do if you have an edge warning on your machine. If you don't, just set up your design like I showed you, and you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. We're just being extra careful because that's who we are. So let's start going and working our way across. Now, no judgments here. Karla's just like you. She needs lots of practice, and I really haven't had a lot of practice. So I'm going to go a little ways, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to shift the quilt, because I really wanted you to see how to shift the quilt, but I also wanted to show you how to work from the front as well. So, and then I want to hear how you quilt, and I want to see what you're doing. So I'm going to turn it on, and let's just go for it. All right, so, and you can hear that stitch regulator working for me, not against me. So I'm just moving across my quilt, watching my design, trying to keep my little dot from my laser as close to the line as possible. But I'm not going to be too anal about it. If I get off somewhat, I'm not going to worry about it, because I'm just going to have fun quilting. And you notice that I have a name and come across. Okay, so now I want to stop, and the needle will stop. Okay, it's okay to stop and try to reposition yourself as you're moving across your quilt. And you're going to have stops and starts, because that's what I have to do. It's kind of like a little dance, and I need a pause, okay, so I'm not sidestepping. So I'm just going to turn it back on, but I have to remember the direction that I'm going. So I'm coming up out into the curve. That's when you stop it. You'll forget what direction you're going, and then you might go back on the line. So watch it. We're going to turn it back on, and I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to do it, come around, go around. I'm going to smile like I haven't the time of my life, because I am. It's a lot of fun. I love a little challenge. I want to challenge you all to try a pantograph. Pantographs are awesome. They are a great way to develop your muscle memory. What I didn't do was show you how I practiced the design before I got on and started quilting. I used a dry erase marker, and I went over it several times, and then because I have a sheet protector on it, I was able to wipe it off and start all over. It's really important that you, as a quilter, learn the designs. Once you have them by memory, oh man, think of the arsenal of designs that you'll have. You won't even need a pantograph, because you'll know what to do, and you can always work from the front. All right, we're gonna get done here. I hope it doesn't look too bad. All right, I'm gonna do one more. It's just so much fun, I really don't want to stop, you guys. But I know how boring it can be just watching somebody quilt. It's a lot more fun. It's like being a spectator at a baseball game. Now, I don't think baseball is that exciting to watch, but I think it's very exciting to play. And I keep saying I'm going to stop, but I don't want to, okay? I just want to keep going, because this is a lot of fun. And I hope I'm getting better with my design. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Notice how I'm going up, down, up, down. Coming around. All right. I kind of have to find a stopping point, and that's why I wanted to go all the way to the edge and show you. My stopping point was right at the edge. I made it that way so that I could show you how to move down to the next row. And we're quilting from the top to the bottom and from right to left on this. And see, notice I'm getting a little faster as well. That's why the stitch regulator, I slowed it down, thinking that I wanted it a little slower, because as I'm quilting, as I'm learning the design, I will want to move a little faster. So make sure that you're raising and lowering the speed of your design, your stitch regulator, to accommodate how fast you're moving it, because they all work together. All right, we're almost done. One last flower here. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. It's been fun getting across this. I think this is actually one of the first times I've actually been able to work across and do the design. All right, so I'm going to come right here and stop. Okay, there we go. Hopefully it's not too bad. Now, we could have some improvements. It's a kind of a dense little design, probably for your first little design. When you have lines that are close together, it makes it a little harder as you're learning the pantograph. So you could pick one. You could actually change the design so it's a little wider, or you could draw your own, something that you were really good at, and make your own pantograph. That's one way to really make it even more special of a gift, is by doing everything from beginning to the end your own. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my needle in the down position. I'm going to shift my quilt. Remember my little gimmick of showing you, and it's not really a gimmick, it just really helps as you're shifting your quilt. So I'm going to undo all my clamps right here. I'm going to take these two off. Actually, I don't think it looks too bad, everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking these two clamps off, okay? Now I'm going to work from the front. I'm going to put them right here so I can grab them, and then I'm going to take this part of the quilt off, and then I'm just going to shift it and continue on. But I'm going to be in the right position, so I'm going to try to use my laser as my starting and stopping point. So I'm going to try to follow it back to where I started the design, okay, so I can set it up. So it's a little more difficult to see when you're working from the front, but I'm going to stand right here and pull it, moving across. Hang on. I feel like I'm caught up on something. So I'll just move it across this way, and we might be stuck on. Come on. There we go. I'm going to try and move it all the way back. Now this quilt's a little thicker. All right, what am I getting caught up on? All right, these are my challenges, not yours. So this is the problem with live. Karla has her challenges. Okay, so we are caught up on this one right here. That's where I was caught up, okay? So those little cords, yeah, they can kind of get in your way. Okay, now move it down. All right, keep going. And I keep catching the cords, so watch them. And we'll keep moving. All right, now I'm going to watch it till I get right back there. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to just move this one down and readjust, okay? So now I can realign and readjust. And I only have a couple more that I need to put on. Put this one on this one on. I want to make sure that I get at least all of these clamped on. And now, because I don't have to worry about my front or my handles catching on these front ones, I could probably leave them off, okay? So I'm going to put this one last clamp on just to make sure that it's clamped on to hold it down, this other end, okay? So I'm probably not going to worry about this hanging down. Make sure that you clamp it into place. And there we go. All right, so now I'm going to work my way towards the back. All right, and hopefully I'm on, but I'm not, okay? But I can get close. I can bring it back on. And let's make some adjustments, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make sure that I'm pulling it now. I'm on the right level, I just didn't pull it far enough. So I just want to make sure it doesn't catch. And I want to undo this, and I just want to pull it down just slightly, a little bit more. I knew that might be the challenge as I was making my adjustments, because even when you roll the quilt to the next section, you have it so it kind of clicks back and forth. So we're just going to slightly pull it, just slightly. Where am I at? Okay, we're close. There we go. And let me put my clamps back on, and then we'll line it up and go again. All right, there we go. All right, so I got to put my clamps quickly back on. I'll put this one right here. I want to make sure that those are on right. And I'm good to go. All right, I'm not even going to worry about that one over there. You get the gist of it? Okay, here we go. In for a ride. So I'm really close. I'm pushing it right there. We're going to start, and we're going to start all the way, and we are going to finish going across till, and I want to stop before I get to the end because I don't want to sew off my quilt. Woo! Sorry, that was a bobble. Hopefully you won't do that when you're quilting. Now, I used to think lasers weren't very easy, but the more and more you use them, the more practice you get following your designs and understanding how they work, the better you are at following a laser. So just take time and practice. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's a great way to develop that muscle memory and to learn the designs. Even if you never quilt using a laser, it's a good resource to have on hand, because like I said, you could use it from the front to the back, moving forward. I would really like to see how you use a laser and the different ideas. You could use it for a pantograph. You can use it for a motif. A motif is just a block design. Following it, you can use it just to follow along to see if your parameters are correct on your quilt. There are many, many different aspects to using the laser. Now, I know we put a link in the website for you to go and check out the Gracie laser. Please check it out. It's not that expensive.
Your bobbin's out.
Oh, dang it. All right, thank you. There's no bobbin warning, everybody. Okay, we'll stop there, and I'll change my bobbin. So let's hurry and do it. I have some bobbins, or my bobbin thread broke, who knows. All right, I'm gonna come around this way again. I see my little boo-boo. You know what, I don't even know if that was in a quilt that anybody had recognized it on a pantograph design. So I'm just gonna cut my thread here. I'm gonna move back, and thank goodness for my warning of my person. Thanks, Madison. She's right, I'm out of bobbin. No, that's cool. Like I said, you just get really involved and you really enjoy it. So, see how quickly I can change a bobbin and get back to work. Okay, so my problem, what will be my challenge will be, and it probably won't be a challenge, so I'm just going to put my foot down here. Okay, now I'm going to bring my thread up. I'm right there on it. Okay, when you bring your thread up, we want the machine to do the work. It didn't even come up that time, so I'm going to hold on to my thread, and hopefully, there we go. See what I'm doing? I'm making my machine do all the work. Now, I'm going to move back. I'm going to put this clamp into place. I'm going to put it down over here because I'm working over here. I'm going to put my needle in the down position. Okay, now I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I'll cut it in a minute. Okay, so I'm right on the line. Man, that was faster than NASCAR, right? At least I hope you think so. All right, so where am I? I just want to make sure I'm on the design. Yes, okay. So we're going up and over. I didn't really even lose my place. So we'll just start it. We're going over, and we're just continuing on. See, even something I hadn't even anticipated. I thought I was going to get through this whole show without changing the bobbin. But no. All right. One more after this, and then we're going to move it to the next row. And I'm going to try to show you very simply and easily how to do that. Okay, so on this design, I actually need to do one more because we're starting, this is the upper, I need to get down to the lowers. Okay, 1, 2. All right. All right, there we go. I'm going to stop right there and let's adjust, okay? Now we could work our way back the other direction. Let's try it. Let's work our muscle memory and work backwards. And I'll only do it on a couple. I keep saying that, but because we're running out of time and I have a lot to show you about the top, okay? And so now I'm just going to unclamp all of the clamps because I'm going to move it up, okay? So with this being right here, I'm going to move it down, come down and start sewing this direction, okay? So let's see how this works. And you might have to make some adjustments as you're quilting to make the nesting. Now nesting is how the designs work together up and down. They call them closer together is nesting. It's the spacing between the rows is nesting. And so it's something that it's a good terminology to learn to use because when you get to the automation, we use it a lot. So we're going to practice our nesting and clamp those into place. And then I'm just going to try it backwards and see if it works out. If it doesn't, then my bad. I'm sorry. Okay. So now I'm just going to clamp this. I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use my clamps, hold it down, and then come back. And I will move down, and I am going to go up from this to the next row. So I'm just going to go up. I'm right down here. See this row down here? I'm right down here, so I'm just going to move it, and I can't. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut our thread, all right? And I'm going to work on my design, and I'm just going to go back up here, and I'm going to do the next row. So I'm going to start right here. Now hopefully as I'm going up, it's going to nest for me. So I'm hoping. So I'm going to start it. Am I going over it? All right. in a sense, you're just going to have to work with your design and learn, and the more you practice, the better you will become. You'll become better at knowing what you need to do with the new designs that you're working with, and it will become like anything else when we're quilting. Okay, so it worked out pretty good. It was a little closer together than I wanted it to be, but it did work out. So, try pantographs. They're awesome and a lot of fun. What I now want to show you, okay, that was working from the back. I want to show you a couple of ideas working from the front, okay? So, as I was practicing, I was using my liners. Let me pull one of them off here. I don't need them. And I put my design in the protectors, the page protectors. Great thing to have on hand, cheap and easy to use. Not only was I able to draw and practice my design, using it and wiping it off over and over and over again, just helping my muscle memory as I was moving along. It just will help you over and over, time and time again, to have these on hand so that you can practice. So just practice your design. And Bryant says I was in everybody's way, so I'm trying to pull it up and out. But just practice this and then wipe it off, okay? Going back. And the more you get it down, the better your spacing will be, the better your design will be, and the better your curls and curves, okay? Then you can just wipe it off. The other thing I did, okay, was I actually put my piece of paper in here, and so it was nice and steady and it wouldn't move. I practiced it over and over again. But I used my machine. So we're going to use my machine, and I am going to unthread it and show you what you can do. So that's what I did. I went across the design practicing it, and then I had these nice little perforated holes in it. I made my own template. What you can do then is place this down on your fabric and use what they call this nifty little pounce. Pounce is something that you can find on Amazon really, really cheap. And all it is chalk. Just chalk that will get everywhere if you drop it. It's like flour. And so I'm just going to make it be on my little pounce pad. And then I'm just going to dab it on. Now, sometimes this works really, really well. Other times not so great. So we're going to see how well it works. I will just do it right here. And it's better if you have it pinned down, but then you can see the little design. That can be a little irritating at times. Do what works best for you, okay? And make sure that you try different ways of quilting. You know, you could also just use the piece of paper as it, and it might even work even better. So as you go over it, let me show you how easy it is. You will want to pin it down. I think I've shown you before. You will want to unthread because you don't want the threads to go through it. Okay, so I will unthread my machine. And now my handles are from the back, so this is a little hard. So I'm just going to show you the motions, okay? We're going to pretend like it's taped down or pinned down. And all you're going to do is you're going to put the machine on the slowest setting. You want the holes to be further apart. If they're closer together, it'll just cut the paper. So have it be on the slowest setting so that as you're moving it, you get stitches that are the needle going in further apart from each hole. So it's moving at a slower pace. You're just going to go around your design, making the little perforated holes, and it actually helps you understand the movement of the design so you're better at moving across your quilt. That's all you're going to do. Then you're going to use your pounce. You're going to use whatever you need to, and you've got a template. You could do that all the way across your quilt, and you're good to go. So let's hear about some of the ways that you quilt, how you quilt pantographs, and I want to see what you're working on. Next week, I'm going to show you a fun little quilter that was trying to decide what machine she wanted to use on her Cutie, and she decided her FAF was the one. I forgot to send pictures to Bryant, but next week I will show you. She's even named her machine, and it is awesome. And you should see this huge quilt that she actually quilted. So don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. It can be done. It can be done with you and by you. So let's see what you're doing. Join me next time. Oh, and Kim says, I haven't had any luck with chalk. Well, you could see mine was kind of iffy too. So any other tips and tricks? As I find out others, sometimes, you know, another way to do it is just using a pencil. I told you I really like a number 2 pencil because I can erase it. And then Paulette, and drawing the design on. I hadn't finished my thought. So Paulette is saying that she says she sprays a light coat of White Rain hairspray. Oh, that's an oldie but a goodie. On the charted template. Okay. That's a really good idea, and that actually will make the chalk stick a little better. So let's try that. She has a great way for us to use our chalk, and actually as I wiped it off, I could see my lines a little better. Make it a less dense design. The Pounce probably works a little better with a less dense design. So, yeah, join me next week. We're going to use rulers. No matter if I have the ruler base or not, we're going to go forth and we're going to do. So we're going to chart our own path and our own ways to quilt, and you guys are my inspiration. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week when we discover the world of rulers and the Cutie. See ya. Bye-bye.